Have you ever stood in your kitchen, grabbed a dusty pack of instant noodles from the back of the cabinet, and marveled at the fact that it's still good after months, or maybe even a whole year, just waiting for you to pour boiling water over it? It's almost magical. In a matter of minutes, that dried brick of flour and water transforms into a steaming bowl of comfort food. But how is that even possible? How can something so simple last so long without spoiling? And perhaps an even bigger mystery. Why do we love it so much that, according to the World Instant Noodles Association, over 120 billion packs are eaten worldwide every single year? That staggering number isn't just a statistic. It's proof of how this humble food has become a global staple, shaping eating habits from Tokyo dorm rooms to New York apartments. Today we're going behind the factory doors to uncover the fascinating science and technology that makes instant noodles and pasta some of the most dependable, convenient, and addictive foods in our daily lives. Instant noodles, believe it or not, weren't born in America but in Japan back in 1958. A man named Momofuku Ando, living in post-war Japan where food shortages were a constant struggle, had a simple but revolutionary idea: create a meal that was cheap, easy to store, and quick to prepare. He wanted something that would comfort hungry people standing in long lines for fresh ramen, something that could bring relief with just a kettle of hot water. What he invented was the world's first pack of instant noodles. From there, it spread across Asia in the 1960s, crossed into the United States by the 1970s, and quickly became a go-to food for students pulling all-nighters, night shift workers trying to squeeze in a fast meal, and families on a budget. Ando's invention didn't just solve a problem, it shaped a global habit that continues to thrive. The journey of those noodles begins with one ingredient we all know: flour. Truckloads of wheat flour arrive at the factory and are stored in massive silos that look more like grain towers than anything related to food. From there, automated feeders measure exact amounts into industrial mixers made of polished steel. Inside these machines, spinning arms work tirelessly, folding together flour, water, and salt into heavy, sticky dough. A single batch can weigh more than 200 kilograms. Imagine mixing that by hand. Precision is everything here. Moisture has to be perfectly balanced, usually hovering between 30 and 32%. Too much water and the noodles turn sticky and fragile. Too little and they become dry and crumbly. Sensors constantly monitor and adjust conditions, ensuring every strand will have the right texture when you finally cook it at home. Once the dough is mixed, it can't just be rushed forward. It rests for about 20 minutes, and this pause is vital. It allows the gluten strands inside the dough to relax and align, building elasticity and structure. Without this crucial step, the dough would tear apart when rolled into paper-thin sheets. After resting, the dough enters a series of heavy rollers. Each pass through the machine compresses the dough thinner and thinner, starting with something as thick as a block of clay and ending with a sheet so delicate it's thinner than paper. This isn't just about shaping, it's about strengthening. The repeated rolling builds the gluten network, creating that springy bite we all recognize when we slurp a forkful of ramen. Next comes the transformation into noodles. Sharp cutters slice through the sheets with staggering speed, up to 500 cuts per second. The type of cutter used determines the shape: thin threads for soup bases, wavy ribbons for ramen cups, or broad, flat strips for stir-fry packs. To keep the strands from clumping together, fine nozzles dust them with starch as they move along conveyor belts. They're portioned into neat bundles, lined up like soldiers ready for the next step. Raw noodles would never last on your shelf for long, so factories steam them first. They pass through long tunnels where jets of vapor cook them evenly at temperatures reaching 100 degrees Celsius. This step locks in their structure so they won't crumble later. But here's where the real secret of shelf life happens: flash frying. Stainless steel baskets plunge the steamed noodles into oil heated between 140 and 160 degrees Celsius. In under 2 minutes, nearly 80% of the water inside is driven out. This single step is why those noodles can last so long without preservatives. With almost no water, mold and bacteria simply can't grow. It's a brilliant piece of food science, and it means your noodles stay safe and tasty for months. Think about the convenience. You've probably found an old pack of noodles hidden in your pantry and still cooked it, feeling both lucky and slightly suspicious. Yet it works every time because that frying process safeguards it. To remove even the last traces of moisture, the noodles then move through hot air dryers, where massive fans blow heated air around them until humidity drops below 10%, the magic threshold for safe long-term storage. At the same time, the noodles are shaped into molds. Some are pressed into perfect squares that slide neatly into packets, while others are molded into round blocks that sit snugly inside cup noodles. That familiar block shape isn't just for packing efficiency. It ensures hot water penetrates evenly, softening every strand within 3 minutes when you cook it. Flavor is what makes each brand unique. Giant kettles simmer broth bases for hours, blending spices, meat extracts, or vegetable flavors. Once ready, they're dehydrated into powders or granules. Some factories add flavor oils packed with sesame, garlic, or chili essence. Robots then synchronize everything, dropping one noodle block and its set of seasoning packets into each wrapper. High-speed packaging machines seal them instantly in aluminum-lined plastic film that protects against light and moisture. Before they leave the factory, every pack passes through rigorous quality control. Metal detectors and X-ray scanners check for foreign objects. Random taste panels sample batches, judging texture, aroma, and flavor consistency. Only then are they boxed up and stacked on pallets, ready to be shipped to warehouses and grocery stores around the globe. A single production line can churn out 600 packs per minute, enough to feed an entire city before the day is over. But noodles aren't the only starch superstar in our kitchens. Across the ocean in Italy, pasta has been a beloved staple for centuries. And today, the United States has actually overtaken Italy as the largest pasta market in the world. Millions of boxes of Barilla pasta line American supermarket shelves, yet very few people know how these golden strands are made. The process is surprisingly similar, though with its own quirks and traditions. Barilla, the world's largest pasta maker, began as a small bakery in Parma, Italy, back in 1877. From fresh pasta made in a neighborhood shop, it grew into a company that now produces more than 3.2 million tons of pasta every year and holds over 30% of the U.S. dry pasta market. Everything starts with durum wheat, known for its hard kernels and high protein content, which gives pasta its signature chew. Once milled into semolina flour, it's moved into mixers where water is added in precise ratios, about 100 parts flour to 30 parts water. Unlike noodle dough, pasta dough is stiffer, forming a firm, elastic mass. This dough is pushed through massive extruders fitted with metal dies that stamp out familiar shapes: spaghetti, penne, fusilli, or farfalle. Each die is carefully engineered so that even subtle variations in texture are controlled. The fresh pasta then undergoes high-temperature drying in large chambers. Here, air circulates at carefully controlled heat and humidity, sometimes for more than 24 hours. This drying process gives pasta its long shelf life, though it does raise questions. During high-temperature drying, a compound called acrylamide can form, a substance that the European Food Safety Authority has linked to potential health risks. Still, pasta remains widely considered safe, thanks to decades of refining the drying process to keep levels low while ensuring durability and taste. Whether it's instant noodles or traditional pasta, both foods share one thing: they're designed to fit into our busy, modern lives. They represent ingenuity in food science, where something as humble as flour and water is transformed into a product that can be shipped across the world, last for months, and still taste like home when it hits your plate. From Japanese ramen cups to Italian spaghetti dinners, these carb-filled comfort foods connect us all, proving that sometimes the simplest inventions can have the biggest impact on how we eat, live, and share meals. When you open a box of spaghetti, pour out a handful of fusilli, or boil up a batch of farfalle, it's easy to think of pasta as something simple: just flour, water, and maybe an egg. But behind every box in your pantry lies a story of science, history, and careful engineering that ensures those thin cylinders of spaghetti don't snap, those butterfly-shaped farfalle keep their wings, and those spirals of fusilli maintain their springy twist. What seems like ordinary comfort food is actually the result of a precise balancing act between tradition and modern technology. The factory floor where pasta is born is not just a place of machines and conveyor belts. It's where centuries of culinary culture meet the demands of feeding millions of people every day. And when you add America's beloved mac and cheese into the mix, the story becomes even richer: an exploration of comfort, controversy, and the science that hides inside every bite. Fresh pasta, as delicious as it is, doesn't last very long. That's why large-scale pasta factories rely on massive drying tunnels to preserve it for months on supermarket shelves. The process begins gently. Warm air at around 50 to 60 degrees Celsius flows over the pasta for 1 to 2 hours, reducing surface moisture and preventing cracks. This early stage is crucial because too much heat too quickly would shatter the fragile shapes. Once stabilized, the pasta enters a more intense stage, high-temperature drying at 80 to 120 degrees Celsius, with fans circulating air and sensors constantly adjusting humidity. For 8 to 12 hours, the pasta is slowly brought down to less than 12% moisture, making it safe, shelf-stable, and ready for packaging. Yet this high-heat process carries its own risks. Starches can react under extreme temperatures, forming acrylamide, a compound monitored for potential health concerns. Brands like Barilla have mastered the art of controlling these temperature curves, ensuring acrylamide levels remain well below international safety limits. The result is pasta that's safe to eat daily while still maintaining the texture and flavor consumers expect. After drying, the story shifts from preservation to presentation. Conveyor belts carry miles of pasta toward Barilla's signature blue boxes, which are instantly recognizable in stores across the United States. Robotic arms portion out exact amounts, most often 1-pound boxes tailored to American households. Each package is filled, weighed, and sealed in mere seconds, while barcode printers, batch numbers, and expiration dates ensure every box can be traced back to its production line. The speed is astonishing. Some packaging lines run at 230 boxes per hour, an orchestra of machinery working in perfect synchronization. It's not just about filling boxes, it's about maintaining consistency for millions of families who expect their pasta to cook the same way every single time. But pasta is only the first half of the story. Few dishes stir as much nostalgia and controversy as macaroni and cheese. That familiar golden glow we associate with childhood dinners has a history far deeper than a foil packet of powder. Mac and cheese as we know it today owes its lineage to 13th century Naples, where a dish called de lasagne layered sheets of pasta with cheese. Fast forward to the late 1700s and you'll find James Hemmings, an enslaved chef trained in classical French cooking, introducing a refined version of the dish to America while working for Thomas Jefferson. Jefferson served it at state dinners, elevating mac and cheese to a symbol of sophistication. Centuries later, in 1937, Kraft revolutionized the dish during the Great Depression by launching its boxed version. Affordable, shelf-stable, and fast, it became a lifeline for struggling families and soon transformed into a staple of American comfort food. Today, the U.S. consumes over 1 million tons of mac and cheese annually, proving its enduring place on dinner tables across the country. The journey of boxed mac and cheese begins long before the factory. In North Dakota and Montana, farmers harvest durum wheat, prized for its strength and high gluten content, which is ideal for pasta making. Trucks deliver the grain to milling plants, where it undergoes rigorous testing for hardness, protein levels, and impurities. Meanwhile, milk collected from regional dairies undergoes its own strict inspections. Tankers are sampled for antibiotics, microbial content, and protein quality. If even one truckload fails, the entire shipment is rejected. Temperature sensors ensure the milk never rises above 4 degrees Celsius during transport, preventing spoilage before it reaches the factory. From farm to facility, every ingredient is scrutinized because millions of families depend on both safety and consistency. Once inside the plant, the wheat is milled into semolina flour, a coarse grind perfect for macaroni. Water is measured and added with precision, and industrial mixers knead the dough into a smooth, elastic consistency. Extruders then force the dough through metal dies shaped like hollow tubes. Rotating knives slice the extruded dough into uniform lengths, creating macaroni at a speed no kitchen could replicate. Thousands of pounds roll out each hour, feeding into drying tunnels where hot air gradually reduces moisture from around 30% down to less than 12%. This careful drying prevents cracks and ensures the macaroni will cook evenly, rehydrating into the perfect al dente bite every time. While the pasta dries, milk takes a very different path. First, centrifuges separate cream from skim. The liquid is then pasteurized at 72 degrees Celsius for 15 seconds, a process that kills harmful bacteria without destroying flavor. Cultures and rennet are added to trigger curdling, creating curds and whey. The curds are cut, stirred, and gently heated until the whey separates. Salt is added, and the curds are pressed into blocks of cheese. Some blocks are aged for months to develop sharp flavors, while others are processed immediately into smoother blends designed for melting. For years, certain cheese powders included titanium dioxide, a whitening agent. While the European Union banned this additive in 2022 due to potential genotoxic concerns, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration still permits its use in very limited amounts. However, many American brands including Kraft have quietly reduced or eliminated it, opting for natural alternatives that deliver the same bright orange color without controversy. Creating that signature cheese powder requires another technological marvel: spray drying. Fresh cheese blends, milk fat, and seasonings are mixed into a liquid slurry, then pumped to the top of towering spray dryers. There, the mixture is atomized into fine droplets and blasted with hot air at more than 180 degrees Celsius. As the droplets fall, moisture evaporates in seconds, leaving behind a vibrant, shelf-stable powder. This process allows what was once a perishable product to last for months, waiting patiently inside foil pouches until the moment hot milk or butter turns it back into creamy sauce. Technicians test each batch for moisture, color, and solubility to guarantee that every box delivers the same comforting taste and texture. For a dish built on nostalgia, consistency is everything. The final stage of mac and cheese production is where pasta and powder finally meet. Automated systems portion dried macaroni into boxes, dropping foil pouches of cheese alongside. Filling machines operate with astonishing speed, up to 200 units per minute, while scanners check weights and tamper-evident flaps seal each carton. Every box is coded with barcodes and expiration dates for full traceability. Before leaving the factory, products pass through X-ray scanners to detect any foreign material, and random cartons are opened for taste testing. Finished boxes are stacked onto pallets, stored in climate-controlled warehouses, and eventually shipped across the country. Frozen trays of ready-to-bake mac and cheese follow an even colder journey, kept at -18 degrees Celsius and tracked with GPS until they reach supermarket freezers. For consumers, the process ends in just 5 minutes of boiling pasta or heating a tray. For factories, it represents days of careful coordination between farmers, machines, technicians, and safety protocols. And yet, even with all this science and control, these foods carry stories that spark debate. Instant noodles, for example, owe their long shelf life not to hidden preservatives but to flash frying, which removes nearly all water. Dried pasta remains safe because careful drying keeps acrylamide levels under control. Mac and cheese has weathered controversies over additives by adapting, phasing out ingredients like titanium dioxide while still delivering the familiar golden color consumers expect. Each product, whether it's a box of spaghetti or a pouch of cheese powder, contains both mystery and method. The unsettling questions: why does pasta last so long? What gives cheese powder its glow? Are answered by a delicate balance of food science, engineering, and quality assurance. What these journeys reveal is that our everyday foods are never truly ordinary. They are the result of global supply chains, generations of culinary tradition, and cutting-edge technology. Behind every bowl of mac and cheese lies the work of farmers in Montana, dairy workers in Wisconsin, food scientists monitoring acrylamide levels, and factory workers ensuring that your pasta cooks in exactly 7 minutes. Behind every box of spaghetti is a system of machines calibrated to dry, package, and preserve billions of pounds of pasta without losing the shapes we love. Food is not just sustenance. It's the intersection of culture, history, and science sitting quietly on our dinner tables. So the next time you tear open that blue box or stir cheese powder into warm pasta, remember what it represents. It's not just comfort food, it's the outcome of centuries of evolution, a factory symphony of engineering and tradition, and a glimpse into how modern life feeds millions. What might look simple on the plate is in fact one of the most complex stories in your kitchen. And if you're hungry for more behind-the-scenes secrets, stick around because the world of food factories is filled with surprises waiting to be uncovered.